votes. The Wall Street Journal revealed much of the powerful campaign conducted by the bishops. The Wall Street Journal. Listen. At least 4 representatives of the bishops' conference worked the House, holding private meetings with lawmakers and with Speaker Nancy Pelosi. The group distributed talking points to priests across the country and gave flyers to churches featuring the headline, "Health care reform is about saving lives, not destroying them." A prayer circulated to the Catholic churches supporting the overhaul of the health care reform system included the phrase, "We will raise our voices to protect the unborn." You see what they were doing? They were working underneath and behind, undercover, good word, undercover, to promote their agenda with the people and put pressure on the Congress. But that's not all they did, as you will see in a few minutes. Here's a little history. The United States has a long-standing relationship with the leaders of government and the Roman Catholic bishops. Ever since at least the Carter administration, presidents and popes have been cavorting together and working in secret alliances to accomplish mutual geopolitical goals. Now they are, as I mentioned earlier, they're doing the domestic cooperation as well. The Wall Street Journal revealed what really happened secretly behind closed doors. Representatives of the bishops were in House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's Capitol suite negotiating with top officials as they reached final terms of the agreement. They were right there negotiating with Congress. Earlier in the day, this is just the day of the vote, the day before, the vote was taken early the next morning. This was on a Friday, and it was taken early Sabbath morning, on the Holy Sabbath of all things. Earlier in the day, Pelosi, a Roman Catholic and an abortion rights supporter, had been contacted by Cardinal Theodore McCarrick, Washington, D.C.'s former Archbishop, now in Rome. He called her from Rome to discuss the abortion restrictions that he and Rome wanted in the bill. It was just one element of an intensive lobbying effort orchestrated by the nation's Catholic bishops, wrote Breitbart.com, that's an economic news agency, who have emerged as a formidable force in the health care negotiations. But this was only the beginning of the bishops' intervention. They had a well-planned strategy. I'll quote again from the article. It wasn't the first time that a high-ranking Catholic had weighed in with a key player on writing strict abortion curbs into the health care measure. Boston's Cardinal Sean P. O'Malley. Do you know who he is? He doesn't live too far from here, does he? You know who Sean P. O'Malley is? Well, he's Boston's Archbishop. He personally appealed to President Barack Obama about it near the church altar, of all places, in early September at the funeral for Senator Edward M. Kennedy. Okay, Nate, I want you to understand what happened. Senator Kennedy died. They had a funeral. Obama came to the funeral. While he was at the funeral, the bishop called him up to talk by the altar. While he was there by the altar, the bishop and the president spoke together about the abortion restrictions that the bishops wanted in the health care bill. Also, the bishops quietly called their senators in order to weigh in on the issue. Rome worked every angle she could. The Stupak Amendment, by which the abortion restrictions are known, was a tool used to pressure Congress. It was designed and introduced by Representative Bart Stupak, Michigan, Democrat, a Roman Catholic, a conservative Roman Catholic. The Stupak Amendment wasn't even considered viable until the Catholic bishops got involved the week before the vote with a massive campaign to pressure the House of Representatives to take out the abortion funding. Bart Stupak himself said, the Catholic Church used their power, their clout, if you will, to influence this issue. They had to. It is a basic teaching of the religion. This is Roman Catholic Bart Stupak speaking, the author of the Restriction Amendment. It was actually Stupak, said the AP report, who told Pelosi that if she wanted a deal on the health care bill, she'd be well advised to invite the bishop's staff, who were already in his office, to her table. I said, well, they're here, and they're one of the key groups you want to have on your side, so why don't we just bring them in and work this out? Stupak said to Nancy Pelosi. She did, and the result revealed what really went on behind the scenes. The Bishops' Conference convinced Nancy and other leading Democrats that the only way to get the House version of the bill passed was to include anti-abortion Stupak Amendment. The Stupak Amendment passed the House 240 to 196, leading to the narrow passage of the entire bill. Are you following me? You see what happened? They were working in Congress intensively to pressure the congressmen. The bishops alone. Well, they weren't entirely alone. They instigated the people to call their congressmen also. But the battle became intense, both over the involvement of the Catholic Church and the amendment. There were actually up to 40 Democrats that were dissatisfied with the bill. They would have been enough to stop the health care bill if they were willing, if they were not willing, to vote yes. Pelosi and her fellow Democratic leaders were working behind closed doors, scrambling to forge a compromise right down to the 11th hour to save the legislation. Rome obviously took advantage of this situation. Several Democrats, including Jason Altmaier of Pennsylvania, said they are in touch with their Catholic bishops back home. Altmaier himself said he must have the approval of his bishop in Pittsburgh before he can vote yes. Did you hear what Altmaier said? He has to have approval of his bishop before he can vote yes. Wow. Imagine having to ask your pastor for his approval to vote for something like this. How is it that the Catholic bishops have such powerful influence? The Representative Stephen Dreyhouse, another Roman Catholic, said he's trying to get to yes, but he said he won't vote for the health care bill unless it says no federal funds used to pay for abortions, and that means no federal funds used to pay for abortion in the public option. Dreyhouse, as I mentioned, is a Roman Catholic who worked closely with the Jesuit Xavier University as a teacher of political science. Imagine that. Now, don't think that the Jesuits are going to have someone in their political science department who doesn't teach Roman Catholic version of political science. Dreyhouse is very friendly with the Jesuits, and he no doubt understands how to work with them. Fox News 4 published an editorial by radio commentator Bill Press entitled Congress of Catholic Bishops. Think about that. What a title. Congress of Catholic Bishops. Bill Press, he said, consider this scenario. After months of debate, the national legislature is set to cast a historic vote. But before legislators can vote yes or nay, yea or nay, the bill must first be sent to the country's Supreme Religious Council for its approval. Only after unelected clerics give their blessing are elected politicians permitted to vote. He said, did that happen in Iran? No. He said it happened right here in the House of Representatives during the vote on the health care reform. A carefully crafted piece of legislation, the result of months of debate by 3 different House committees, was before the House for a final vote. But at the 11th hour, lobbyists for the U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops descended on the Capitol, declared they would not accept the provisions of the bill would not accept provisions in the bill that did not restrict